Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of You Can Sit With Us. I'm one of your hosts, Becky. I'm joined by Matthew.
Hello.
We have Rainie on the ones and twos.
Hi.
And today we have a very special guest. It's one of the new Try Guys. It's Ryan Garcia.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi, Ryan Garcia. How's it going?
Good.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, welcome.
I'm doing really well. I have my Diet Coke, and I couldn't be happier.
I will say both Ash and did Marissa bring up the Diet Coke? Someone else brought up your love of Diet Coke on
They
this
brought up
podcast.
my love of
Yes.
Diet Coke.
Yes.
Wow.
You're a spokesperson now.
It's really a big deal. Both I love it, my wife loves it, and my wife's aunt who lives right next door loves it. So we're constantly like, as little gifts, we'll like leave a Diet Coke for each other, or like, oh, don't worry, I'll restock your Diet Coke. It's a big show of affection to have Diet Coke for another one of us.
Your love language is Diet Coke.
It's 100% Diet Coke. Well, I grew up on Diet Coke. My mom drank Diet Coke, and so that feels like the actual flavor to me.
And your dad worked for McDonald's, right?
That's
now
true.
that we're talking about your parents, when I think of like a really good pop, I think of McDonald's, Coca-Cola.
Fountain machine.
The fountain machine
They-
at
Nothing
beats a fountain
McDonald's
machine.
is different. It hits different.
I worked at McDonald's in high school
Whoa.
when I knew
Oh,
Keith,
okay.
when I first met Keith.
Yeah, near McDonald's University.
Right
Right?
in Oak Brook, Illinois.
Yeah.
Hamburger U.
Hamburger you.
And they actually had, so like they have the Coke rep will come and recalibrate everything. So like
Really?
all the
Oh
sodas
my gosh.
there are perfectly calibrated. That's why they're so good.
Oh my
Unlike, can I disparage a company? Unlike
Absolutely.
AMC, who has I've stopped buying sodas at AMC because those
Bring your
big
own
machines.
BYO.
I do. I bring them in my pockets. I bring a can of Diet Coke in my pocket. Like, I'll bring because it's always cold in the theater. So I'll bring a sweater, and in one pocket I have the cashew clusters from Costco, and the other
Delicious.
pocket has a can of Diet Coke
Yep.
because their
Nice.
soda machines are so poorly calibrated.
I will tell you, I mean, not the big ones, because I didn't work there when we had the big ones, but when we had the normal like fountain machine, it was us teenagers fixing it.
Right.
Like I was popping the bottle,
Well,
popping
just
the
anyone can do
box
it.
and hooking it up.
Just anyone can do it.
Right.
Like,
But
it
when
was
you
not.
when you leave AI to do it in the machines they're using now, it's bad. So AI really is the ruination of our entire society.
That's actually what this podcast is about.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, thank you so much for segueing us there.
This is a segue
is a
into AI.
segue.
Well, my dad actually worked for Burger King first,
Oh.
Really?
and that's where my parents met.
At Burger
At
King.
Burger King?
Working together at Burger King.
Aw.
That's darling.
And my dad was the manager. And so my mom, she became a manager, but they had to go to different stores because they started a relationship together.
Ooh.
And so they started working at different stores
Well, that's-
until, right? Because like, any kind of hierarchy issues.
Uh-huh.
And then my mom left and started a flower shop.
Oh.
And that's where I grew up, was in the back of the flower shop
Wow.
called Blooming Babes. And then
Bloomin' Babes.
Blooming
So
Babes.
cute.
Shout out.
Yeah.
You were blooming.
Yeah,
A blooming
I was a little
babe.
babe blooming in the back watching Barney.
That must have been so fun. Was
Yes.
that in Illinois or had you moved previously? Because you lived a lot of places.
Yeah, that was in Miami. The first move was because of McDonald's. And that was because my dad left Burger King and McDonald's headhunters picked him up and took us to San Diego.
Oh, wow.
And then from San
That's a
Diego
big
to
move.
Denver, from Denver to Naperville, Illinois, where I met Keith. And then I went to college in Orlando.
All over the place.
All
Yeah.
over the place.
Yeah.
Every time zone of the continental U.S. 2 elementary schools,
You've
2 middle schools,
experienced-
2 high schools. Yeah.
Wow.
You got two of everything.
2 of everything.
I think that's how life
Collect
should
them
be.
all.
You
Right?
get them all.
Collect
Just a little
2
option.
of everything.
Mm-hmm.
2 of everything. And now could you believe that you and Keith would still
I can't.
be working together and doing things
So I
together
actually don't
so
know
long?
the story. How did you meet Keith?
So, and also, wait, the wildest thing is it's attached to just recently the San Diego live show.
Really?
Yeah, because that
Oh.
was the 20-year anniversary of Keith and myself on
Oh my
stage
God.
together.
Oh.
Whoa.
Isn't that wild?
That's
That
so
is.
cute.
In 2004, we did The Wizard of Oz together, where Keith played the Scarecrow and I played the Tin Man. And then we proceeded to be in plays together where I wanted a role and Keith booked that role. And then I would get a different role. Now, I can't like complain because like we did Damn Yankees and we both wanted to be the devil. And he got the devil, which is like Mr. Applegate, I think is the character's name. And then I played the lead guy. So, it was still like, I can't like
Right.
complain. I did great.
You were
but
still a star.
I want to be the bad guy.
Have you ever played a bad guy on
Yeah.
TV? Because for those who don't know in the audience, Ryan is a legitimate professional working
Yes.
actor, teacher. You do stage,
Very
you
accomplished.
do TV. You do it all.
Yes.
Have you played a villain on TV that we can go find you being evil?
A villain on TV, I have in like a web series, and I am I'm preparing right now to do it in an indie film, a found footage horror film.
Ooh.
Where I'm not giving anything away because when you meet my character, you're like, this guy's a creep.
We know you're the killer.
Well, the question is, like, is he just a creep, or is he like,
I see.
is he just a
creep,
weirdo, or is he bad?
Ooh, interesting.
Like, is he dangerous or just odd? So I'm preparing
Honestly,
that
that's the
character.
question I have for a lot of people
Yeah.
when I meet them.
Yeah. And like, if you're just
Dangerous or
odd,
odd?
cool.
Yeah.
I'm happy to meet you and learn about what made you that way.
Yeah, right.
But if you're dangerous, let's keep our distance.
Be weird. Be weird. What's your favorite role that you've played?
You know, actually, one of my favorite roles was the first one I got on TV, which was in Community, where I got to play this character named. It was my first TV acting role, and it was a same day audition where they were like, "Hey, can you be at CBS Radford at 2 p.m.?" And it was noon. And I said, "Yeah." So I got off book, got there, did the audition, and played this character Domingo, who the dean found out that he was about to get fired, and the only way to protect himself is if he was in a protected class. So he pretended to be gay and hired a man for a press conference to be his gay boyfriend. And so I played Domingo, the hired boyfriend of gay dean. And
Man, TV 10 years ago was
this is an okay storyline, right?
wild.
We're okay with this? This still passes? And Dan Harmon actually came down on a Segway while we were filming, and I was over at Crafty. And he parked his Segway up next to me and said, "Hey, you're not going to Costa Rica or anything tomorrow. I'd like to write you into some more scenes." And so I got to spend more time. And it was actually an episode directed by Jim Rash, who plays the dean, and Nat Faxon, who are writing partners that actually won the Oscar for writing Descendants.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like an amazing experience, top to bottom. Everyone was wonderful. I knew one of the writers on set, so it was just like, felt like family.
Yeah.
I think it was
so
like
cool.
really like formative experience, first time on a big set.
Yeah. How long did it take you to get to that big set? How many years of auditioning
many
and
auditions?
working
How many-
and hustling?
Oh my gosh. Well, I joined SAG when I was 7 in Miami.
7.
Yeah. My SAG ID is from 1994. And when I moved to LA, I said to them, "Hey, I think I'm already part of SAG. Here's a SAG ID number I had from an old resume." And they said, "Great, you owe us $3,500.
Oh my God. Back dues.
Okay.
Right. For all the years
Yeah.
I'd just been growing up.
Right.
And I said, they said, or you can write a letter to the leniency committee. And they meet tomorrow or once every 2 months. And so I wrote the letter. I actually drove down to the SAG building. I handed it in, and I heard back. They said, "Okay, you're back in, $83."
Oh.
Okay.
I just said,
That's
"Hey,
better
I
than
haven't
3,000
been
or
acting
3,000.
for." It's way better than 3. It's way, especially like having just gotten out of college into LA,
Expensive
Yeah.
the
letter.
city.
You wrote a very expensive letter.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just paid first, last, and security deposit. Like, I can't be
You're like,
shelling
"Please
out.
no." And like not allowed to work union or
Right.
non-union things. You're like, "Please."
And right now I'm cutting myself off from
Yeah.
all this other revenue that I could possibly get. So from there, it took a while. I moved to LA in 2010, and I did a lot of friends projects and theater and web series. And there was a rule at that time, this new media contract, where you could bring people into the union by producing a web series or short film and being the SAG rep on the short film. So I was working with friends to be like, "I can get you SAG eligible." Which is something that's very, like, people want to join the union, but in order to join the union, there's all these hoops you have to jump through, and this was a loophole.
Yeah.
So I helped friends getting into the union by making projects with them, making my own projects, and then it was 2015, this like same day audition that broke out, and I booked a bunch of roles that year. Pretty Little Liars, this show Rosewood.
I'm sorry. I'm
Very
a Pretty Little Liars historian.
Yeah.
What episode were you on, Ryan Garcia?
I don't know.
Who were you? Who was there? You remember nothing?
Who was there?
There was a
I'm gonna have to Google it and find it later.
There was a young blonde woman.
Oh, okay. Two options there. Two options.
That everyone in the makeup room was complaining about.
I know who it is.
Which,
I
if you
heard.
want to know, like, if you want to get like the feel for how things are going on a set, you learn it in the makeup room.
Oh yeah.
That's where you find out
all
like
the tea.
all the politics, all the tea. They are just getting played out right there.
Right.
And I found out there of like, oh, there's a little bit of diva-ish stuff happening here on set.
I know who it was. I know who it was.
I played a little desk clerk co-star that jumps in, hands off a little piece of information in the middle of
Okay.
a scene and runs away.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And you know, because I also, like you were saying, I'm also an acting teacher.
Yeah.
And so I'm very much like, this is a long career. When people ask me, hey, I'm moving to LA, what should I do? My first advice to them is like, make a life before you start thinking about how am I going to get into the industry? Because this industry owes you nothing, and it's going to probably drop you on your ass a bunch of times. So if you got to build a community, you got to build a life, you got to build an income, you got to find a part of LA you want to live in. It can be unlike New York, where you are constantly surrounded by people and forced to be out in community. In LA, you go from your home to your car to your job to your car to your home. And if you don't take an active step in actually creating community, it's going to pass you by, and it's going to be super isolating. And so that's the thing that I think has been so important for me, because there's I tell my students too, but it's something that I have to tell myself, is like William H. Macy had 3 points in his year where he didn't work for 5 years.
Wow.
You know,
That's
this is like
crazy.
someone who's like, that's a career, you know, and to know
Yeah.
that like 5-year droughts happened in that person's career really puts things in perspective of, I might not be working all the time, so I've got to be doing other things to fulfill my life here.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of other things that you do, I mean, it's definitely still acting. But if anyone has little kids, they might know your voice
Oh, yeah.
if they're listening to it right now, although it sounds a little bit different on the show. You are a voice actor on Big Nate.
I am
Yeah.
a voice actor on Big Nate. This is not the character that I play.
Okay, I was
was
wait, I feel like I didn't hear. I was like, I feel like it was a different voice when I heard it
No,
online.
Nickelodeon unfortunately owns that voice of mine, so I can't use it.
Really?
I see.
No.
I was
can
like,
do it.
oh my God, that's dark.
Oh my God, we're getting a cease and desist.
I'm not allowed to use that voice on a microphone anywhere except for Nickelodeon. I was on Big Nate. I played a total of like 19 characters total on that show,
Oh my
Wow.
God.
That's
That's
crazy.
which was so
That's a
fun.
lot of characters.
It was so fun. And I had 3 recurring characters. I had Mr. Rosa, who just sounds like me, but a little more nasally. And I had Dr. Legaze, who was the theater teacher. And,
Good
and a bunch of other ones. My favorite one was a clown priest that I played. So there was a clown, funeral, and I was the clown priest giving a eulogy.
Oh my gosh.
All right, well, you can't
And
just
it was
tease
like,
us with that.
I don't even remember what I did. It was like, we now gathered here today for the loss of our friend, Mr. Boom Boom. You know, something like that. And now I just recorded 3 episodes of Dora the Explorer.
Oh,
Wow.
So
that's
your
cool.
even younger kids are gonna hear me
Whoa.
soon.
I didn't know Dora the Explorer was still on.
It's a reboot. They're back.
They're Dora's
back.
back.
Dora's back, baby.
I liked the live action Dora the Explorer. Did you see that one?
I
It was actually
did.
pretty good.
Yeah.
It was really cute.
And it's still a kid who's voicing Dora.
That's
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it's a
cute.
little girl in it, because I was talking to one of the people there, and he was like, "Yeah, they work her. Like they bring her in here, and they're like
They work
hours
her.
of recording." And she's like, "Yeah, it's fine. Kid, gotta go. Bye."
See ya. Come on, backpack. Yeah, that's wild. I can't believe that show's still on.
I know,
Dora
right?
the Explorer.
Well, you know how like they're revamping all those
Everything.
yeah.
and all those shows are now coming back more like CG than they are like actual 2D animation.
Right.
yeah.
Because it's faster
Mm.
to do, and I think cheaper. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, interesting.
But I would guess based on how animation is going these days that they're choosing the cheaper route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think it's interesting. Like, I remember when I first learned that, like, the Rugrats people were all just these women.
Right? Or like
Like,
Bart
everyone
Simpson.
on, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone on, like, yeah, Bart Simpson.
The face behind the
Simpsons,
voice.
Yeah. The face
Yeah.
behind the voice.
Yeah.
Usually a woman.
You never know.
It's cool.
Look, we like it.
Look,
Well,
it's cool.
I mean, look, more jobs for women.
More jobs for women. This
Pay
is
them
Ryan's
more.
platform.
Give them more jobs.
That's why you're sitting with us. Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you.
Except for any jobs that maybe I could procure. Because it is, like I said, hard out there. William H. Macy, hard life.
Hard life, hard job. Well, moving on to your other love.
Yeah.
You are
Kelly?
the Office's, well,
Oh, okay.
obviously,
No, go ahead.
your beautifully talented wife.
She just booked a role.
She just booked
She
a role.
quit
Is
acting
usually
years
a writer
ago.
director.
She's a writer-director. This is the thing. She auditions once a year, maybe once every 2 years, because she doesn't want to act anymore, and she books it. Why? I'll tell you why. I think
It's the attitude.
it's the attitude.
It's got to be
It's
the attitude.
It's got to be the attitude.
She's like, I
or leave
honestly,
it. I'm
I
here,
have
take it or
other,
leave it.
I have
Yeah.
other things to be working on right now, so this is kind of in my way. So, like, I can give you my time while I'm here, but how much longer do you think?
Forget the boring gifts this year. Shady Rays makes finding something special for everyone on your list easy. With premium polarized sunglasses that bring both clarity and comfort, you'll be giving a gift they'll appreciate every time they step outside. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company offering world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. They have hundreds of options, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match anyone's style, including your own. As a gal with green eyes, my eyes can be super sensitive to sunlight, so when I'm driving, I always have on a pair of polarized sunglasses, and I love my Shady Rays. Every pair of shades also comes with lost or broken protection. If those shades ever disappear or get damaged, Shady Rays will replace them, no questions asked. And with a 30-day return policy, gift givers can shop confidently. Treat yourself or someone special. Go to shadyrays.com and use code SITWITHUS for 40% off 2+ shades. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. I know there have been a few holiday seasons where Keith and I have gotten to the end and been like, we spent how much? And we've all been there, spending more than we should during the holidays. Take control of your finances by using a Chime checking account with features like no monthly or maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Learn more at chime.com/sitwithus. The way that it works is you set up a direct deposit on your Chime account. After a qualifying direct deposit of $200 or more, Chime will notify you to enroll in SpotMe. With an activated debit card, Chime will spot you up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. Your next direct deposit is applied to your negative balance, and Chime never charges overdraft fees for using SpotMe. Enjoy the holidays while keeping your financial goals on track with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/sitwithus. That's chime.com/sitwithus. Chime. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Direct deposit timing depends on submission of payment file. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs and for OTC withdrawals.
Yeah.
I love that journey for her. Can you spoil it? What she booked, or will we just have to
I think I can spoil
watch
it.
on the internet?
I mean, look, come at me.
We're getting a cease and desist from Nickelodeon. We're getting a cease and desist from Kelly.
Just forward them to me. I'll handle it. She booked SWAT, which is a show, by the way, that was saved by the fans.
Really?
Like, it was
Really?
a show
Oh,
that
wow.
ran for, I think, 6 seasons, maybe 7. I think it might be in its 7th season right now, or maybe 8th. I'm not sure of the numbers, but it was canceled, and the fans said, absolutely not.
Bring it back.
We want this show. And they said,
Wow.
okay, we'll bring it
right.
back. And somebody who I
Wow.
was his teacher. I was actually the TA. David Sullivan was the teacher. But David Lim, who's on that show, auditioned for the show while he was in our class and coached it with David, who was the teacher at the time. And the whole thing was the role that they had him audition for wasn't right for him. And rather than trying to prove to them that he could be that role, he went in and did his own, like did his take of who he would be on the show with those words, and they wrote him a role.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And he's a millionaire.
Okay, well, I would like that to
A
happen.
million swats.
A million swats. He swatted
million
it up.
swats.
He's
He
swatting
was
so
on a
hard.
canceled and
Wow.
uncanceled show.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Did the same network keep the show, or did it
Yeah.
go to a different network?
Nope. Same network.
How did you become an acting teacher?
Okay, this is great because it involves Kelly. I was working in the office at the acting studio that I'm at right now, that I teach
okay.
at. And when Kelly first came in to do like the orientation meeting with, his name's John Rosenfeld, who's the acting teacher, my mentor, kind of my LA daddy.
Also, if you're in LA, I have lots of actor friends, and it's a very like well-respected, cool studio to be a part of.
Yeah, I love it there. It's been my community. It built my community. So many people of my life are from that I've met there. And she came in, and afterward, I spoke to her. And so I was like, hey, so how was your consultation? Do you want to take class here? Blah, blah, blah. She left. And I said to John, can I please be in acting class with her? Because I already had a massive crush on her. And
You were
so
like,
I
we're
wanted
gonna
to
make this
spend,
happen.
I wanted to spend more time with her. And I think once we got into class together, I had never rehearsed more outside of class for class
Oh my gosh.
than when I was there with her. And she called in one day and said, hey, I have an audition for this multicam project. Can you coach me? And I said, oh, I'm not a coach, but I can set you up with David Sullivan or a different coach here.
Yeah.
And she said, no, I want to coach with you. And so she pushed and pushed, and I said yes, and then she booked it. And I thought, well, maybe I can be a coach.
Yeah.
Maybe I can be a teacher. And so she kind of opened up that world for me and helped like usher me into out of the office and into the classroom where I loved being so much.
You know who you need to coach? Speaking of actors,
Uh-oh. About to throw some shade on an actor.
someone in this room is a little notorious for being, I would say, for giving nothing as a reading partner.
Excuse me, Becky.
Giving
What are you saying?
less than nothing.
Wait, tell me a story.
So Eugene goes on lots of auditions. And you know how you have to send in like the tapes?
Oh, yeah. I tape people all the time.
I'm always the one behind the camera.
Yeah.
The voice
The
behind
reader.
the camera.
Yeah.
As the reader. And his agent once told him
Oh, no.
that I was the worst reader they had ever heard of in their whole career.
Ever? That's so rude.
Ever.
It's so funny because I actually have pitched teaching a class to to actors' significant others on how to be better readers.
Eugene is signing
feel
Matt
like
up
I need-
today.
Eugene would definitely sign me up. He's like, you have to go to this.
You must.
Honestly, in your defense, being a reader is harder than it seems.
It's not a chosen profession.
No, because you gotta
It's a coerced.
you gotta
role.
support the actor, and
Yeah.
you've got to know the tone of the story. You've got to give them what they need, but you also need to stay out of the way. Because sometimes, like, I have to check myself because I tape people all the time as an acting coach.
You don't want to overact.
I don't want to be the one that
You
they're
don't
like,
wanna
well, how about that
stage 'em
reader
up.
though?
Wait a
Yeah.
second.
I want to turn that camera around.
Yeah, right.
I don't give a shit about this guy.
That's what I say in my defense.
Yeah.
You know, that I'm so bad. And if I'm this bad and you look so good with that, with me being so bad, just imagine what you could be with people who are good.
That's a pretty bad
Right?
defense because anything that distracts from the because I have the first class of each month in that class that I teach, I have them self-tape at home. And I will say your reader is so distracting, it's hard to watch your performance. You just don't want anything to get in the way.
Yeah.
So I'll send you a link to my new class for the significant others of actors, how to be a better reader.
Use
with
code
Garcia.
Ryan G for 20% off.
Right? Yes.
It is hard I was at a casting agency in Chicago interning. It was always fucking car commercials. And they always made the interns do the reading. And I was like, I can't say this line again. I'm going to fall asleep.
Yeah.
My eyes were rolling in the back of my head.
Right.
Yeah.
It can just get so boring after hours of it.
And it's like legalese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can I say on the other side of that, if you are in a situation where someone's like, can you do scratch? If you're trying to get in the voiceover industry and someone that I have a friend who wrote a video game called Helldivers 2.
Okay.
And he said, hey, Ryan, will you come in and do scratch audio for all of this? Always say yes, because then the producers and the people, the execs will all be listening to the scratch audio. And then when they're auditioning, they'll be like, yeah, but that's not quite like the scratch. Can we just get the scratch guy?
Oh,
We just
that's
pay the
smart.
scratch person to do the job. And I've booked jobs doing scratch audio.
Oh, wow.
That's really
Interesting.
funny.
Yeah. So you get paid peanuts in the interim, but then when it's worth it if you're getting a job at the end.
Oh,
the other
yeah.
end of it.
Keith did his one of very few voiceovers.
Yes.
Did he ever tell you about the Jim Gaffigan one?
Please.
That one is the weirdest thing. Keith does not do impressions. Like, no, he is known to be.
I don't know. His Miss
an
Piggy
ear-
is pretty good.
Okay, yeah. If he's being like goofy, but if you're actually trying to impersonate someone, he got an audition for like it was some spot that they wanted to do with Jim Gaffigan, but it's too expensive to pay Jim Gaffigan to do the like pre-thing.
Yeah.
So they were like, we'll just hire someone who sounds like Jim Gaffigan to do it, whatever. And Keith like booked it.
Yeah. Like, maybe we don't need Jim Gaffigan at all.
I was like, Keith, like, what voice did you do? And he's like, I don't know, just mine.
Yeah. And I've always
like
said
Jim
Keith's a poor
Gaffigan.
man's Jim Gaffigan.
I mean, that's what the internet has agreed upon.
Yeah.
That's what they've agreed upon.
Pockets.
Yeah. But that was his one of, I think, 2 voice acting ones. The first one was the one that brought him here. It was the Coors Light.
Right. Yeah. I know
Coors
about
Light.
that.
He was the mountain man on the radio for one single Coors Light spot that just kept getting renewed on the radio.
Wow.
And that's how he paid to
That's nice.
live in LA.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cut off your earlier segue about my other love.
It was pickleball. But your first love
It was
is
pickleball.
Kelly. I was going to segue that one into like, and also your other love of your life also loves pickleball. You are a pickler.
I love
Pickleball fiend.
You are, I mean, we all
Champion,
know Zach and Maggie
nonstop.
are big picklers.
They're very good.
You pickle
Yeah.
with them and Jared,
Yep.
but you are like, pickleball is life.
Pickleball. I'm going
Pickleball is
to.
life.
So I have after this. I'm going to tape a client in an audition, and then I'm going to play pickleball.
How did you get into the pickling?
How I got into pickleball was it was just my friend and I went to we're just like everyone's playing pickleball, let's play pickleball. And my friend Tabitha, and so we went to this place called Pickleball Exchange, and we went inside. We thought like we'd get a net because you have to buy a net for certain courts to bring your own net to set up.
Oh.
We thought, okay, we'll buy a net for $50 and maybe a paddle for $20.
Yeah.
Went in there, they're like, oh, the cheapest paddle here is $150. And we said, no, thank you.
See ya.
Went and bought some stuff on Amazon, played. Cut to now, I'm considering buying my 8th paddle, which is $240. I have 2 nets, one that's $350. Like
You're deeply invested in the
What
pickling.
happened to your other 7 paddles?
I have them. I've just
Okay.
continued to upgrade
I
and
see.
like learn the like what do I need? It's so nerdy. I like what do I need in my game? Do I need more power or more control? And so I've been and also over time a paddle starts to lose its like pop.
And it's a gateway for other people. You're like, oh, you don't need to buy a paddle. You can come play pickleball with us.
I got
I
7
have an
paddles.
extra paddle.
I could like fully have a pickleball party with 12 people and I have all the equipment you need. Everything.
This sounds like another business idea.
Okay. Pickleball. Okay. So I got you set. Can I get you signed up for pickleball as well? What's it going to take today to get you in my pickleball class? I did
Maybe
buy,
you could do a combo. you know?
Learn to be a reader and better at pickleball. I did buy also a caddy that like holds 50 balls and then a bunch of balls as well. So you can just like walk around so I can go out and drill. I'm also drilling on Wednesday.
Do you do your
I have
practice?
my drilling planned.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dedication.
It's just that it's so fun. I think why it took off was that in the pandemic, people wanted to get outside and do something where they could still connect, and tennis
Right.
is hard.
Yeah.
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 Like so much respect to all tennis players because that's hard. But pickleball is fun day one. But there's still a lot of room
Yeah.
for improvement from there. So it's like you start having fun and then you just want to get better. And so now I'm at a place where I'm playing with such good players that the only way I'm going to be competitive and have a good time is if I drill.
Drill. You got to do your drills.
I got to do my drills.
Yeah.
Gotta do your drills.
What are your
Practice.
drills?
Gotta do your drills.
What are my drills?
Yeah.
Dinking.
Okay.
Got to get better at dinking. Got to get better
gotta
at speed ups. The drills. I've got this friend that I met, and also like my community's gotten larger. Like you know how like my entire like literally my wife, all the time that I spent on stage doing theater, even my play at the Geffen, all stemmed from people that I met at John Rosenfeld Studios. And then now like through Keith bringing me over here into Try Guys, that's been a totally different community that's been expanded, and
Right.
pickleball has been a whole nother community of mine now that has expanded outward. And this guy that I met at the dog park. I go every morning at 6:30 a.m. with my dog Logan,
Aw.
and we started talking about pickleball, which is now all we talk about at the dog park. And he's the one I drill with, And he's so much better than me, but he runs me through different drills on like, there's this thing called Ernieing. My pickleball fans, they know what I'm talking about.
Drop a pickleball in the comments if you love to earn
Yeah, all these terms.
But it's so boring. But it's so that's like I am very obsessed, and it keeps me tan and it keeps me fit.
Love that. Well, and you do love fitness.
I do love fitness.
You are the resident fitness man.
It's a crazy mantle to have to uphold, and but it meant I got to do the ice plunge with Ash, which I had never done up until that point, and I could not believe how long Ash stayed in there. Also, I think like I'm gonna spoil something right here. I think they gave me more time in the edit of episode 3 of us being in of the new guy tries.
Yeah.
Of how long. I think I was only in there for 60 seconds, but they made it look like I was in there for a minute 50. I think they gave me time because Ash was in there for a full 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could not believe that for his first time.
Yeah.
Do you don't cold plunge at all?
I need to.
You need to. It's good for your
You
body.
seem like someone who would cold. You know
I
what
do.
I mean? You seem
100%
like a cold plunger.
I would think that I cold plunge. It's just
so now you cold plunge every day.
now.
Yeah.
So I've
And now you're doing your drills in the cold plunge.
I'm like, I'm not going to pay for a cold plunge. Cut to me. I've got that top of the line cold plunge, and how can I get you in one?
Now it's an MLM.
Okay. Now all you have to do is recruit 3 more people.
All you got to do is sell 3
Becky,
cold plunges.
you need a cold
I'm in. Sign me up. Sign me up right
I'm
now.
having like a reaction right now because I listen to podcasts at like 1.5, 1.75
100%.
speed, and I'm already a fast talker. And I'm like, am I talking at sped up podcast pace, or am I talking at regular Ryan pace, or is this Diet Coke? I don't know.
No,
You're just
no.
gonna
It's
sound
the
like a
Diet
mouse
Coke.
when they,
Yeah.
when they speed it up.
We're actually going to speed it up before
good.
anyone's allowed to speed it up.
Listen to this on 0.75 to understand what I'm saying.
I do like listening to things like very fast.
Me too. There's
I do
only
too.
there's only a few that I don't. Do you listen to it fast?
Yeah, usually always. Because you want to hear more.
Yeah.
You know, even like
Yeah.
the daily and stuff I'll listen to, and it'll be like 2 times speed.
The only ones I
me
listen
three.
to
Yeah.
at regular speed is like I listen to some comedy podcasts.
Because
And
you need the
or-
timing.
I need the timing.
Yeah.
Or like, wait,
that's
don't
true.
tell me. I listen to that on regular pace. I don't want to listen to that paced up.
Okay. Oh, yeah. What are your podcast tracks for our audience? What do you love?
I mean, my favorite podcasts I listen to all the time are Pod Save America. I used to listen to Love It or Leave It religiously, which is an offshoot of Pod Save America. I love The Daily. I love right now. Do you ever listen to We're Here to Help?
Oh.
It's Jake Johnson and his buddy Gareth Reynolds. And it's basically the premise is 2 drunk uncles at a bar giving you advice on your life.
Oh, okay.
So like you come in with your
that's
silly problem and they
cute.
give you advice as in the same way that you might get from a couple uncles or guys at a bar.
Oh, cute.
And it's very fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Are they the ones that hired the intern off of someone who just DM'd them once?
yes.
I feel like they have a good social media game.
That's
There was
exactly
this
it.
girl that like she just like cold emailed them and was like, "Your social media is so bad. I can
I can
fix
help.
it for you."
You
and
nailed it.
she's
That's
really
exactly
funny.
it.
Yeah. Okay. I saw that on like TikTok or something, and I was like, "That's really cute."
Yeah. So I highly recommend that one. That one's super fun. And then some fantasy football podcasts.
Oh, okay.
Because you are #1 Rams fan. You
Oh.
love the Rammies.
I do love the Rammies.
How are the Rammies doing?
They're not doing great.
Okay.
They're not doing great
All
this year.
right.
Look, we sold our soul to get a Super Bowl ring, and we got it.
You got
and
it?
It's worth it.
That's it.
It's worth it for the ring.
You don't need anything
Worth
else.
it for how long? How many years does it buy?
That's a great question. I'd say it buys 5.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I'd say it buys 5 years.
Whoa.
Because that's all then
So the
rebuild
next
time.
like 4 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
So are the Rammies not going to the Super Bowl this year?
Ooh, I mean, hey, never give up, never surrender.
Never say never.
Never surrender. Is there drama
Okay.
on the Rams? Because there's drama on the Broncos.
Oh, is there drama on the Broncos? Wait, what's the drama on the
Whoa.
Broncos right now?
Well, the Broncos have a really bad quarterback who's ruining
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah.
And he's a baby. He's a
Ruining
rookie.
Is
my
that Bo
life.
Nix?
He's Bo Nix.
Yeah.
And then also I was hearing about the coach. We've got Sean Payton who had this thing called Bounty Gate, where like 10 years ago or something, he told the defensive line that they would get paid for every quarterback they injured.
What?
Whoa, you should never wish for injuries.
Yeah.
Like even in fantasy football, sometimes it's like,
It's crazy.
like, oh, my team's going to do much better because this other team is injured, but you never wish for an injury. That's just such bad form.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I know dark. And he's still kicking it. He's still coaching the Broncos.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, the
That makes sense
NFL
for
isn't
him.
really.
Not really known for.
Deshaun Watson's getting millions and millions of dollars. Hundreds
that
of millions.
guy?
Oh, we don't need to go into Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is the one who had a bunch of scandals because he was getting massages from women and then, assaulting them and really bad guy. And then got one of the biggest contracts ever by the Browns.
Oh no.
And then wasn't able to play because he was injured and then came back and has been terrible and now just got re-injured on the field. And you saw Browns fans celebrating in the stands.
Really? They want him out.
They're like, get out of here. We
Yeah.
don't want you. We don't claim you.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah. I don't really watch football, but every once in a while, Keith puts on college football. And that little boy from Alabama, I just love that little boy. I don't know what his name is. He's like 17 years old, and he's just running.
Is he one of the...
He just runs.
He flies.
You think someone's going to tackle this kid?
Nuh-uh.
Runs. He's like, "Whee!" He's gone.
College football's a blast. The plays are so big. They're
They
taking
do
huge
crazy
risks.
things. They're
Yep.
jumping over each other.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow.
I would say my favorite football move,
Go ahead.
I'm so glad you asked, is when they're all at the
Line of scrimmage?
pole.
Oh,
When they're
yeah.
at the pole.
Sure.
And the ball only needs to go a little bit and they all get behind each other and they push.
Oh, the tush push.
I love that.
Yeah,
I think it's so cute.
They call it the brotherly shove.
Uh-huh.
I like that. And then I like seeing the one go "Tee!" over
Jump
them.
over it?
If they jump over it. We just
Yeah.
saw that in a
Oh.
college game.
Super cute.
I believe it was Vanderbilt versus, I think Florida. Was it? No,
You-
Bama. It was Bama? Maybe Bama?
Good question.
No, it
I don't
wasn't
watch
my little
college ball as
17-year-old.
much. I just don't watch college
Keith watches
ball.
Tennessee sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah. I like when they get super excited when they do a good job
Yeah.
and they celebrate and their team
That is
celebrates.
sweet.
And you're like, oh, he's so happy.
They have their plant. Do you ever watch Hard Knocks? No. I'll answer that for myself. You don't watch Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks is like the documentary they do on HBO before the season. And they'll be like following a certain team. And you get to know some of the players. And you also get to know some of the players that are like on the bubble, which is like, will they make the team or will they be cut?
So it's like Drive to Survive on the F1 show on Netflix.
Right. And what's fun is like on this last one with the Miami Dolphins, you got to see them say, okay, so if we get a touchdown, our celebration is going to be, we'll be on a roller coaster. So how are we going to do it? Well, I'll get in a line and we'll sit on the ground and we'll go, and then backwards, and then forwards, and then left. And so they plan out their celebrations together. And it's so cute to watch. Yeah.
Aw.
That's cute. How long do you think football is going to be around?
Oh,
I always wonder.
That's a good question.
Because my parents are always like, I bet Henny's going to play football one day. And I'm like, he is
wow.
absolutely never
Not allowed.
going, never, ever playing a game
Dangerous.
that's scientifically proven to hurt your brain.
Yeah.
But how long? I'm always like, football's going to be not a thing anymore
Do you
when he's
think
in high school.
that maybe helmet and pad technology will get so good that it will become safe enough?
I think they have to make it better. I mean, they have that
I
new
think
that
it'll be
new
a-
thing that they put in the helmet, the
Yeah.
little cushion,
The little pillow top?
the little polo top.
Yeah.
But I think they're not spending the money to make it
I think
better.
as long as people can make a lot of money doing it, it's going to be here.
I think they're putting a lot of money into it, honestly.
Yeah.
Because you know why? Because you know why?
Tell me why. Tell me why, Ryan.
Wow, I got so
Change my mind.
it's not good for the sport to have injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Right now, they have a game set up between the Bears and the Commanders, which had the first and second pick in the draft of Caleb Williams as quarterback of the Bears and Jaden Daniels quarterback of the Commanders. Jaden Daniels just got injured. It is not good for the NFL to have this team that had this meetup of these two. Like, what's the story here if one of them is not able to play because of an injury? Like, it hurts the story. It hurts the viewership. And where there's money, I think that they are going to take care of it. So I think they are actually very much on top of like, we've got to make this safe while also making it fun. Because I think that there's something messed up about the gladiatorship of football, where we want to see so much of like America and just fans in general want to see grown men just destroy each other.
Oh yeah, hockey games, the fights.
Yes.
It's crazy.
But the injuries are not good for the bottom line.
Not good for the bottom line.
And so that's why I think there is money in protecting these players and making the safety
They need to get
top of the line. I know.
and then they need to trickle that down to children who are playing this game.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time my cousin was playing football and I went to go watch him and he literally got tackled so hard his helmet came off.
Yeah.
Like his helmet
Defeats
went
the purpose.
straight backwards. And I was like, broken neck. No, he didn't have a broken neck. But that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scary.
It's so scary.
Scary.
I never played.
No.
Not for me. Ultimate Frisbee?
No.
Yes.
Also dangerous.
So dangerous. And okay, in high school, everything I'm saying sound like I'm really regressing on
Those
this
are your
podcast.
glory days. That was the best time in Ryan's life was high school.
In high school, freshman year, I was in marching band, and
Cool guy.
I was a real cool guy.
Love it.
And we would play Ultimate Frisbee, and there was one time that this freshman girl was jumping for a frisbee at the same time as this like large senior dude, and he didn't even like push her. They just ran into each other. And she went flying the other direction and reached out her arm to stop herself from hitting the ground.
no.
And the bone went flink out the skin.
That's scary.
So she just like outstretched arm, locked elbow, hit the ground.
It's like the one thing they tell you not to do.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like, how do you not?
You just gotta be a
Well,
drunk.
it's so reflexive. You're like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not like you're like trying to do it.
That's why it's the
Yeah.
person who's been drinking in a drunk driving accident that is not injured as much because they're so
yeah.
loose.
And like
Yeah.
babies, I think, are
Right.
supposed to be because they don't know to
They
clench.
don't know to clench it up.
They don't know to brace.
Interesting.
No fear.
No fear.
Yeah.
They don't know about
Babies
it.
have no fear.
That's crazy. I remember I was
Yeah.
watching a basketball game when I was serving, and this was years ago. I think it was a college basketball game because it was really sad. But this guy, everybody's like, "This is a great game. This is gonna be so good." And they're like, "Look at this guy go." And I like looked up, and this guy shot the ball, jumped back down, and he had an old injury, and his bone came out of his leg. And it was so fast,
does
and it
that
was
even
live. So we saw it, and then they cut it from like the replay or whatever. But it like ruined this poor kid's like career.
Ugh.
And I was like, all sports are dangerous. Everything is dangerous. It was just,
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
And then you got soccer, people running the.
Yeah, pretending to
I
be
do
hurt.
kind of. That one really kind of tickles me when
You
you
like
see
the
like.
acting?
I think it's kind of silly. And basketball, they do it too, where they like fly across.
Oh, they
the
do it
room.
in football too.
Yeah, they
A
do it
quar-
in football.
A quarterback will get like nudged and he'll fly back. You just watch. Josh Allen does it a lot. Who's a quarterback for the Bills? There's like super cuts of him just like pretending to get flown
Oh
across
my gosh.
because they're looking for the flag to get thrown for
Yeah.
roughing the passer.
Right, right.
Oh yeah, because you're not supposed to hurt the quarterback
Right.
or the little kicker. Because they're always little.
kicker.
They're little. They're
Wow.
teensy, aren't they? Aren't they like statistically
They're not like jockeys.
teensy?
They're not like
No,
they don't
not like
get. They're not
jockeys.
like better. They're not like better at kicking.
But they're
because
not like
small.
a linebacker or like a wide receiver.
No, they're
They're
well,
like
but also
littler.
the fact they're putting linebacker and wide receiver in the same category says a lot. Like that's like a 350-pound person versus a maybe like 240, 190.
But then the little kicker's little.
The kicker can be little. It's also like there's some punt kickers that are large.
Oh.
Like you don't necessarily have to be small, but you're not also encouraged to be. There's nothing great
Yeah.
about
Well, nobody's
being a
gonna like
big
hit
kicker.
you. No one's
Right.
gonna hit you.
Oh, they try.
Right?
Oh no, they're trying.
They try to hit the kicker.
No one's safe, Becky.
But they're so
they're
little.
not supposed
safe.
to, but they can. There's a lot. These are people just
I
throwing their
do-
bodies.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's a football question.
I'm not
I mean,
the
it's
expert, but
it's on
I'll
everyone's
answer.
mind. You are the
It's
number
on
one
everyone's
football fan.
mind.
Number one football fan
In the room.
in the room. Maybe
Probably in the
whole
building.
Office.
Yeah.
Probably in the building.
No, I don't know about that.
Probably in the building. Why does the kicker not always get the ball through the?
Yes,
Upright?
that's
Goal.
a great
Goal.
question.
Why
I had
does
that
it
question
not?
as well.
Because I'm like, it's
Yeah.
all they do. Like
Yeah.
all day, every day, they're kick.
Yeah.
Kick. I mean, sure, there's wind, right? And you're going to be stressed because
Right.
there's people screaming at you. But
Right.
like your whole job is kick.
Yeah.
Kick straight.
Yeah.
How come, Ryan?
how come?
come?
I think that most of sports is a mental game. And so there's certain things you can do as an opposed. And by the way, kickers have gotten a lot better over time. It used to be that like a 50-yard kick was a maybe 50-50 chance of going in. Now it's about like an 85% chance of going in because kickers have just gotten better and better and better.
Yeah.
But not only are the fans yelling at you, sometimes the coach will ice the kicker. So they'll wait till you're right about to kick and they'll call a timeout.
Oh my god.
Just to try to get in your head. So like, okay, you made that one. Can you do it again? Like that's a big strategy.
Scary. Oh my God. So
And
right
then-
before they kick, they go,
Yeah.
and then they've already kicked.
They've already kicked. And so now it's like, okay, let's see you do it again.
Do it 2 times in a row.
So on top of that, they'll have a player who comes around the edge and tries to sprint in and jump in front of you to block the kick. They have players on the other team. These are 280, 300-pound men jumping over other 300-pound men to try to get to you while you're just kicking, to try to block your kick. And I just saw there was some blocked field goals just this weekend. So I think when you add in, if it was just an empty field,
they would kick it 100% of the time, right?
Perhaps. Always human error.
Perhaps.
Yeah, always human error. Always a large gust of wind.
Yeah.
Get a cramp.
I think it's the same as like, why aren't golfers always hitting par? Because it's a mental game. Once you start getting in your head, like all you do is hit that tiny ball. How come you can't? And they say here that this is a three strokes is all it should take to get that ball from here into that hole. Why is it taking you 4 this time or 5 that time?
But it's a teeny ball, so the wind does more. I'm like, a football's big. Football's kind of heavy. I'm like
and oddly
golf
shaped.
Ball's oddly shaped.
So I think you got to think about that too.
So
you got
does
wind.
the wind take it? Can it take it that far?
Yeah. It can really. You see, I saw a kick yesterday that started like leaning right and then going left and then came back right. Like the ball does weird things in the air.
Weird. I could also see like if you're from Florida and then you're playing in like Minnesota.
Buffalo?
Yeah, or somewhere where it's like really cold and like the ground is hard.
Yeah. Or your foot is cold.
You already answered your own question.
Or you're cold. Yeah.
You already answered your own question.
I guess I just mean like here. Like
but I think this is where people
come.
come for this discussion.
Yeah.
Right? They won't.
You can tell the fans, I think, and the football fans circle.
It's
Venn
a circle.
diagram.
The Venn diagram is a circle.
Same.
I think that's well, let's wrap it up. That's all we need to know, Ryan. Thank you so much.
Really, it was all just leading up. You're just buttering me up to get to that question.
To just get to football.
Kickers don't always get it.
I have been waiting for this moment exactly.
Yeah.
Well, now that we've talked about what the people really want to hear, which is football,
yep.
Let's jump, maybe to something that aligns a little more with our audience, which is you being one of the newest Try Guys.
Yeah.
What is that like? What's going on? What's happening?
It's so cool. It's so wild. I mean, you know what I was just thinking about before I came here? I was just, I was watching the newest episode of New Guy Tries, and I was really just zeroing in on, gosh, Kwesi is such an enigma to me.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a chaos agent, but then he's also so wise and so positive and so joyful and always spinning the positive. And it just made me consider, I've got so much to learn from this human being. And I thought that, I've got so much to learn from all the human beings that work at this company. And how excited, because I mean, even in the sense of being an actor, I joined when I was 7. I've been doing it for over 32 years of my life.
Now,
I'm 21 now, so 32 years of my life. 32, 33 years of my life, I've been acting, and I'm still so curious and dedicated to learning more about myself and how to be a better actor. And then getting into the world of Try Guys and the unscripted. And it's just all about how do I feel about these things. There's no character to filter through my experience. That it's very new to me. So I'm just the world of possibilities is so much larger. And I was also thinking today there's so much more room for failure in that. But I think that failure also leads to there's so much to learn from these other people and grow from. So I think I'm just mostly to answer that question, I'm just so excited to learn about this new thing that I've been doing little bits here and there, but now it's very much more a central part of my life.
Yeah.
Going up on stage in San Diego was unreal.
Different than going up on stage in a performance in a show.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's a performance in a show.
No, totally. I think I was reflecting with them the night after that show because it was like a rock concert. Try Guys fans are different than other fans. They were just so positive and just so excited.
A lot of energy.
So much energy.
It's because they're football fans.
It's because
they know
that's
how
the football
to.
Try Guys.
Yes. They're I just watched a game and now I'm here.
The diagram is a circle.
Go.
I did a show that was much more boutique at the beginning of the year, and it was maybe the greatest theater experience of my life at this hotel in Carmel, California.
Ooh.
And then to juxtapose that with the experience of being up on stage in San Diego and it just being an energy fest of like, you're getting excited, so I'm getting more excited. Now we're just frothing each other up as an audience and as performers.
Right.
Was like, I had two of my greatest onstage experiences in the same year in such
really
different
interesting,
worlds.
Right.
So I think there's just like so much still to learn about it that I'm really just like so excited about.
Yeah. Are there any tries that you really want to do?
Ooh.
Like, what would be your pitch? Because we have some ins with the higher.
You know some people. You know somebody?
We know a couple
We
people.
can make some calls.
Wow.
Make some calls.
I mean, I might have a little more. I might have a little more foot in the door than Matt, but
Your foot's kind of out the door.
his foot's still there. His foot's there.
I can still knock down a door, Becky.
That's true. That's true.
You know, I really want to try curling.
Oh, curling.
Yeah.
You always watch like that's like my favorite thing about the Winter Olympics is
Winter
curling.
Olympics are coming soon.
They're coming soon. I
Yeah.
think curling is so
That's
cool.
a good one.
I know that it already like there's tries that already happened that I'm like, I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of intrigued by the period pain, which I know is an like OG original one or whatever that. What was that one? Did I get it right?
Try Guys,
Motherhood
Try.
series.
The Motherhood series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was, especially after being with Ash in the cold plunge, and Ash being
yeah.
like, "Yeah, I've had periods for 27 years. I'm kind of accustomed to pain."
I would be interested to try it now after giving birth.
Right.
To see if it was,
To see if it feels
like a labor
similar.
pain simulator.
Oh, labor pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd want to try that to be like, okay,
And
was
see
it the same?
how accurate it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if I just like have like PTSD and start crying or something, you know?
Right.
But
We'll see.
we'll see. It could go either way.
Wow.
Yeah.
It could, I
Wow.
could either be like, this is totally fine, or like, like just start crying and staring into the camera. I mean, that's an experience in and of itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, the period pain, labor pains.
Yeah.
Those are all fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, sure.
Fun ones.
A blast.
Yeah.
But they're very core try guys. I mean, the basis sort
Totally.
of like OG BuzzFeed days was men do woman thing.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
What's hard about being yourself as opposed to playing an actor? Like that's interesting to me.
Yeah, there is this interview. So it kind of actually pairs with when I did Damn Yankees with Keith. Every character that I had played in high school up to that point had an accent. And that was the first character who had my voice.
Uh-huh.
And it was so weird
Yeah.
and very vulnerable and exposing.
Ah.
And now I'm still protected in a way when I'm doing it because I'm still protected by the character's experience. That even no matter what, this is still like no matter what I say or how I act or how I respond or how I'm perceived, it's still like the character's view of the world, not my own. You know, so I still have that protective layer. And now that protective layer is gone when I'm doing these videos because every experience that I'm having and every opinion I'm having about it is ostensibly my own. And if somebody disagrees, they're not disagreeing with how the writer thinks about this character or how I have interpreted this character as written. It's now how they experience me and what their opinions are about my view on the world.
Yeah.
And that's scary. Like, that's like very, if it's so vulnerable.
Have you gotten any mean comments? Or
Yeah.
nice comments? You have? Oh, I was hoping you'd say no.
No, well, it was wild because you listen to those things of like, never read the comments.
Never read the comments.
And I would
Yeah.
say 98%, maybe
Yeah.
even 99%
Yeah.
have just been like joy
Yeah.
and great comments.
Yeah.
Usually about the size of my biceps, great hair.
Lusciousness of the hair.
But also like how funny, how witty, how nice, how like sweet, blah, blah, blah. All these like wonderful comments. And then Marissa sent me like,
No. Thanks, Marissa.
but she sent it before it turned. It was a Reddit.
no.
It was a new like Reddit subreddit. I'm like, guys, what do you think about Ryan Garcia?
Never click on this. Never click on this.
And I was like, this is great. This is great. This is great. And then there was one that wasn't great. And I had to sit and my wife came over and I was like, I'm kind of feeling down because I read this thing and I don't think it's true about me, but I know I can't like start a conversation with this person trying to prove myself because that's a dead end.
No.
But this person's
Isn't it horrible how the one comment like overtakes the 300 that you
my
already read
God.
about that were positive?
But I think
It's so horrible.
It was horrible. But I feel here's like something like I used to very much like I used to. So I'm sober and have been for 3 years. And in my past, like when I was in my drinking days, I was very much like keep it to myself, keep quiet, handle it on my own, put out an air of I'm fine, everything's good, and then drink away the discomfort, and drink away the anxieties. And now, like I'm so attuned and kind of like I've shifted how I handle things by like I need to share this. And so I went through that. I sat with it for a few minutes, and then I told my wife, like, "Hey, here's what's happening that's making me feel kind of sad right now."
Yeah.
And it released. Like I still felt it. I still had to go through the discomfort and the sadness about it. This one comment in 100, or actually one comment in 66. That and yes, I kept going back to see anyone come to defend me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But it like released a lot of that to be able to share it with Kelly.
That's really sweet. Yeah, I did actually think that when you said you were telling her you felt down. I was like, that's such a nice way to do it. Just be like, I feel kind of bad about this thing that someone said. A stranger.
Yeah. And I also like, I've also gotten really good at asking for what I need in that situation because I'm so, attuned to that classic male thing of when Kelly tells me something that's wrong, me wanting to solve it, but knowing that that's probably not what she wants in that moment. And I know that that's not what I wanted in that moment. To say like, hey, this is bad. I don't need you to fix it, but I just need you to hear it. You know?
Yeah. How did you discover that like sitting in the discomfort, how did you find that as a solve as opposed to drinking? Like was that, or yeah.
Yeah. Well, I went through the program. I don't still continue the program, but there's just things in there that really spoke to me. Rigorous honesty. A big part of it for me was like, I was raised Catholic, and there's certain aspects of Catholicism where if you have an issue, you just keep it to yourself, or I guess like in the mindset of it, you share it with a priest, but people around you, you portray like everything's good. I am I'm as holy, not holy as Jesus, but I'm just like, everything's fine.
Yeah. Living well.
Yeah. Living well. Everything's good. Keep your shit to yourself. And in AA, I discovered like, oh, I can talk about those dark things about myself. And here's a group of people who accept me regardless and actually like laugh with me. And that practice just bled into the rest of my life as like, oh, I'm not being accepted because I'm perfect, or I'm not being accepted because I'm smart, or I'm not being accepted because I'm funny. I'm being accepted because I'm human. And I think like the flaws that come with that are actually a positive. And that was kind of what I learned through AA as well as acting class. I had my acting teacher one time come up to me, and he commented on my drinking as well, which really helped me on that journey. But he said at one point, Ryan, you put a mask up to all of us in class, so nobody actually knows who you are, and it creates this two-dimensional version of yourself that you're sharing with us, and that's the same as all your characters. All your characters are just as two-dimensional as you're allowing us to see from you.
Whoa.
And I was like, whoa.
That's deep.
Mind blown. Yeah.
That's deep.
And so I was like, oh, I'll become a better actor and a better person if I actually share those dark parts. And I think that's what helped me learn. And then the positive about it is I get to release the valve rather than just like let the pressure build. And knowing also that if I let the pressure build, it's gonna lead to disaster. Like if I let the pressure build to a point, it may lead to a drink. So it's like actually my entire life is incumbent on me sharing.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's
beautiful.
I didn't come up with it. I took it from.
I stole it.
I took it from Bill of AA.
Do you think the like radical honesty and like not letting things build, do you think that helped with your relationship too? Because you and Kelly have been together for a very long time. You've been married for how many years now?
We've been married for 9 years.
That's
together for 11.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It is a long time. It's made things. When I first met Kelly, when we first became friends, I knew she was the one just because, I can be 100% myself with you. In every other relationship, I changed myself or hid parts of myself in order to make the other person like me or feel okay. And here I was like, oh, I can just like be myself and you're cool with it. And so I think like all things have kind of led me to this path of rigorous honesty. And yeah, it's definitely made my relationship better because I was so practiced as from my upbringing about keeping things to myself and lying. Like I was a bad kid when it came to schoolwork. I wasn't a bad kid. Like I never drank, I never smoked cigarettes, never smoked weed, nothing, not till college. But I did not like homework because I did a really good job on tests, and I thought homework's not for me. Homework's for that other person
who needs it to do the test.
Who doesn't get the
Homework's for those other kids.
So I got really good at lying, and it behooved me. And there was one time, I've told this story before, so my mom already knows about this. But there was one time.
All the secrets are coming out.
There was one time that I knew I had bad grades. My parents knew I could at times stop doing homework until my grades could get bad. And so my mom emailed my teachers saying, please email me all of Ryan's current grades. And I knew I had some bad ones. And so I went into my mom's email and I blocked all my teachers' email addresses.
Oh,
and I went
really
to
smart.
Sneaky,
that is really smart. Wow.
And then I went to school and I said, something's going on with our email, but my mom wants my grades. So could you give me a printout? So I took the printout and I took the grades that were good and I kept them. And I took the grades that were bad and I trashed them. And I went to my mom and I said, hey, so there's something going on with the email at school, but my teachers were able to receive it. So this are the grades. Those other teachers have not gotten back to me, but I'll keep on them. And it was the
lazy teachers.
I vilified the teachers rather than
your old teachers are actually fans of this podcast and they're listening to it and they're like, I gaslit me. I knew it. I knew that Ryan Garcia was no good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And your mom never found out?
No. Well, actually, she did. She didn't find out that like how I did that, but she did eventually find out my grades.
Right.
And so I came home one day, and my mom was like in the kitchen, and she was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And
no,
like,
scary.
And I was like, you just kind of keep things positive. Like, hey, yeah, I'm good. Thanks. Go up to my room, and on my door is taped an envelope, and it's got my report card.
I love your mother.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Wow.
I think that is why I'm scared anytime my boss calls me.
Oh no.
It's just like, oh God. Hey. Yeah. And he's like, hey, Ryan, how you doing? I'm good. What's going on? I just calling to chat. Oh God, thank God.
I used to put all my jobs numbers. I never put them in my phone because I never answer a number that's not in my contacts.
Wow.
So then I would never answer them.
Wow.
It wasn't a name.
You wanted
what
the
a
voicemail?
system.
You wanted the voicemail.
I wanted the voicemail. I never put it in.
Do you think that you could have just said, oh, I know this is my boss, so I'll let it go to voicemail? Or that would have given you too much stress?
No, I think I would have been stressed out if I saw it. Where like if I saw it come up, I would be like, oh, it's just a random number. Just a random number. I'll let it go to voicemail.
How many times have you been fired, Becky?
Never. Do you know I've never been fired?
Never been fired?
No,
So
I've
what are
always
you to
just
be
quit.
worried about then?
I don't know.
Well, maybe
What
you've
if
never been
someone's gonna
fired
yell at me?
because of this system.
That's true. They couldn't get a hold of me to fire me.
Can't fire Becky.
Well-
May as well fire somebody else.
Well, that other girl's out. She
Wow.
won't pick up her phone.
The other girl answered, so she's out.
Yeah. But I always checked my voicemail.
Yeah.
I like that the warm up.
Totally.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? I love a little context. Text me first.
Text me.
Just text me. Do you like answering phone calls?
I usually answer the calls. Yeah.
You do?
Not if they're like random numbers.
Yeah.
But like if I'm expecting a call from somewhere, I'll pick up. No
What
matter
if you're
the
not
number
expecting
is.
it? What if it's someone you know, but you're not expecting it?
Oh, if it's someone I know, I'll answer.
Yeah.
I'll pick
okay.
up. And he's also a little freak and be like, do you have 5 minutes to talk? And I'm like, oh, Matt hates me. Okay.
Yeah. That text
Sure.
is so scary.
Yeah. I'm like, okay,
Like,
Matt
do you have
hates
5
me
minutes
and Eugene's dead. So yeah, I'll just hop on this 5-minute call.
Do you answer phone calls?
Shaking.
Miles used to call me almost exclusively when he was my boss. Like he didn't text me; he would just call me, which was wild for me.
Wow.
And now I think
would
about
be
it,
like
yeah.
vomiting every day. I'd be like, when's the call coming?
Yeah, and me and Jonathan never call. I don't know if I've ever called him one time, but it's nice. It's efficient.
Yeah.
But it's there's something about the phone call where you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a serial sneaky caller and FaceTimer.
Oh, you sort of do it. You
Just
do a
hard
rogue
launch
FaceTime?
into-
Huh?
You just do a rogue FaceTime.
Yeah.
So then someone answers saying it's a call, and then you just pop up.
Yeah. I'm here.
Hey,
What are you doing? What's in there?
show me everything around you.
What's in your fridge?
Yeah.
Remember that? Did you guys ever do Periscope when that was an app
I
for a
never
minute?
got into Periscope.
I
no.
never got into it, but I remember it was an app.
It's just like
What did it
lives
do?
now, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it was before lives. It was Periscope. And the thing everyone would do on Periscope is all the people who are watching it would say, "Show me your fridge." Everyone was obsessed with seeing what was inside somebody's fridge.
Yeah, but Ryan, this was your first season, speaking of fridges,
Yeah.
on Without a Recipe.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
How
Are
was it?
you a cook?
No.
Do you cook?
No.
Well, you are very healthy. So you eat chicken
Sure. Yeah. I
and
like
a vegetable?
I do eat a vegetable. I eat a lot of eggs. I eat a lot of eggs.
An egg man.
I'm an egg man.
How many
Wow.
eggs do you eat in a day?
Between 4 and 6.
Raw or cooked?
Cooked. You animal.
Guzzling eggs. I just picture you guzzling eggs in the
He's
morning
got
with
the
your pickleball
shaker.
racket.
I'm just Gaston.
Yeah.
I'm just in there.
So you're an egg
Yes.
man.
I'm an egg
How
man.
are you eating scrambled?
Scrambled omelets. I like those little sous vide egg things. They make them at Costco.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah,
Little egg
they're-
bites.
Yeah. I'll do a
Ah.
bunch of those up. But usually every morning I'll have an omelet with some kind of things. I like sear something in the pan and I'll put the eggs in. And so I'm good at that.
So
Oh,
that's
you're
your
good at
specialty.
That's
eggs.
I'm also good at a one pan thing. When it starts to become timing of like, okay, this is in the oven, but that needs to be prepped for the next thing while that's on the stove and this is boiling.
But that's what they do on Without a Recipe. Right?
Exactly.
You have to do a lot of multitasking.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what terrifies me. My wife like makes fun of me because I even get thrown off by like those like Blue Apron type things that they send to your house.
Yeah.
Like, even though it's all like, it's very simple. We're going to walk
Yeah.
you through it. These things are
There's a video, there's written instructions,
Nope.
there's
stress, anxiety. No.
Press.
there's like a fire on the stove, and Kelly's like, "It's a salad. Did you do this? Why is there even this? Why is the stove on? I don't know."
Yeah. To speak on like the fridge too, I don't think because can you tell I'm anxious? I'm anxious.
You're already
even just
getting
talking.
anxiety
Thinking
thinking
about
about
it.
having to
I'm
cook.
getting sweaty. I need another Diet Coke, but I'm out. I did a lot of research. When I get stressed, I just
Okay.
do a ton of research, and so I watched every Without a Recipe that existed
Oh,
in
okay.
order to prepare, even the one that's
See
only
what
on
not
BuzzFeed.
to do,
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
and try to get like because I did Phoning It In, and I did not watch anything before that one, and I did not know that I lost my connection to my chef at any point.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And that's scary.
I
Like,
see.
And that's
what?
the end.
So I needed to know what's the context, what's happening here, what
Yeah.
can I learn from their mistakes?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking like, well, Zach and Keith, they already made the mistakes. So they've learned from them.
100%.
And I'm about to compete against these guys.
Yeah.
So I need to learn from their mistakes.
There's always more mistakes.
And they're,
Always
There's always
more to
more
make.
mistakes.
it only helped to a point. And what I didn't realize, to speak on like what's in a fridge, I didn't know there'd be so many red herrings.
Yeah.
Like things in the kitchen
Extra items.
Yeah.
that don't help, but seem like they might.
Mm-hmm.
uh-huh. I've always kind of wondered about that, of like, how do they stock? And I mean, right when Rachel comes on, I'll have to ask, like, how do you stock so there's just enough
Right.
where it can hide in plain sight?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you start to think, do I need this? They have like 8 different types of flour. And like,
Oh, yeah.
which flour am I supposed to use? I'm also not a baker in any. I now know so honestly, I learned so much watching all of Without a
Oh,
Recipe.
yeah.
Like I didn't know how to make bread. I didn't know the basic format of like what went into a pizza crust.
Yeah.
Like these
yeah.
things that now I'm like, oh, it's just flour and water and salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything needs salt.
Everything needs
Cannot-
But not
salt.
too much salt.
I cannot stress this enough. It needs salt, not too much salt.
Uh-huh.
You can oversalt. I
Yeah.
learned on one of the Try Guys cooking shows.
And you make bread.
I am recently
You bake
a,
bread.
a breader.
Yeah.
I am
You're a
recently
breader.
a sourdough breader.
a
But I
pretzeler.
am a recipe. I'm not like,
Right.
I'm going
But you have to be with
mess
bread, don't
around
you?
with these things. No, I follow the exact same recipe every
But don't you
single
have
time.
to be like that with bread? Like
No,
any
if
baking?
if you're like excited and you want to like try new things, sure. But if I'm like, it ain't broke.
Right.
I go to the same TikTok video every
Right.
single
Wow,
time
the
I
same
make a loaf
Rewatch
of
the
bread.
video every time.
It's got
And
and
I
half
do
of
it
its
with it.
views are from you.
Are me 100%. And I go through all the things.
Sponsoring
I'm
this
like,
girl
here
now
it
on TikTok.
is. Yeah.
amazing.
If I do it enough, like if I'm making it more than once in the week, then I'll remember the things. But no, I
Right.
need the recipe every single time. And I've started to do like more cookbook cooking.
Yeah.
And that's I can't do without it. There's no way I'd be able to do something without a recipe.
I use the recipe as inspiration. I'm the opposite.
Yeah,
You're
that's
very-
crazy.
you're
Like I'll
very
look
good
at the
at cooking.
recipe
He's
and then I'll be
very
like,
good
okay,
at
I like this,
cooking.
but I like this flavor more. I want to do this. I'll add that.
Right.
Like the first time I'm doing it, I'll do that.
No, I'm like recipe every time.
Yeah.
I'm just like you.
So many.
And so to be there without it, I'm already stressed with a recipe. So to be
Yeah.
without a recipe was a recipe for disaster.
Right? Because I'm always like, the concept of the show is so good because it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, if you don't even know the fucking basics of a cupcake,
Yeah.
how do you make a cupcake?
Yeah.
I did have one of the judges spit out some of my food.
Oh, was it a
not
texture
good.
or a flavor issue?
Both. I think it was
Too much
a
salt, too much sugar.
egg. Egg where there shouldn't be.
You're obsessed with eggs.
I was like,
Oh
You're
my, you're the
obsessed.
Eggman.
I'm the
You're
Eggman.
Branded the egg and
Can
footballer.
that be my
Egg
thing
and football.
rather than like the
Not
fit
pickleball,
guy or
not
the pickleball
acting.
guy or the sport guy? Can I be the Eggman?
You're the
You can be
Eggman.
You're the Eggman now.
Man of the people.
Gotta get shirts made.
And if you want to buy some of Ryan's eggs,
Yes.
use code RyanG
That's so
for
weird.
20% off. Ryan, we can't spoil whether or not you won.
Yeah.
So the audience will just have to keep watching.
Just got to watch to find out.
You got to watch to find out. You guys subscribe to Second Try.
Ooh.
Get all those bingeable moments.
Yes.
Ryan,
So good.
where can the people find you?
At Muchos Garcias on Instagram is your best place to go, I'd say.
Love. Anything you want to plug? You got any shows coming up?
Look, just stay on Nickelodeon because I'm going to pop up in Super Duper Bunny League. I'm going to pop up on Loud House. I'm going to pop up
Whoa.
all the animated shows on Dora the Explorer. And go and check out Big Nate because that show deserved a much longer run than it got. And hopefully there's a third season of stuff out there that a company could buy up.
Ooh.
So give them them
TBD.
views.
So if you know anyone that wants to
If you happen to know this,
Wanna buy a
save
show.
Big Nate, hashtag save Big Nate, re-up.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And telling us all about yourself.
Yeah.
We love our new Try Guys
Yes.
series, having
So fun.
everyone on. I'm sure the audience will demand you back
yes,
to hear more about football.
and Big Nate,
Number one.
and
in
so they
Big
can
Nate.
keep Big Nate on the air.
And
See
eggs.
what else you're doing with eggs. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Like I'm gonna. You know what I learned? Well, I'll say this one really quick.
Give it to us.
In high school, we did a home ec class, and they taught us how to microwave an egg. And they were like, they did
Sounds
things
great.
that were helpful and not helpful. Like they
Yeah.
taught us how to make spaghetti from scratch, something that I was never going to use, and they taught us how to make an egg
Microwave and egg.
in a microwave because like you're going to
That's
college.
So funny.
and
Was that
you're
at
gonna-
Niqua?
Yeah,
I've heard about this home ec class.
yeah.
Keith will be like, oh yeah, and then I did this thing and it was really helpful. And I was like, we all need this class, this
I
home
did
ec class.
That class and a power mechanics class where I had to take apart a single cylinder engine and put it
What?
back together and make it run.
That's crazy.
Awesome.
That's above and
too
beyond.
much.
Yeah.
Next time you're on, we'll have you talk about your gadgets. You're a real gadget guy.
It's a gadget
You're
guy.
a gadget guy. So you got
I
to tell us
love that.
about
Eggman gadget guy.
gadget guy, egg guy. Well, until next time, guys, make sure you're eating your eggs, washing your hands, peeing after sex, being nice to people, get vaccinated if you're not vaccinated already, all the good things. And until next time, bye.
Bye.